up a seat at the bar to join us for another episode of McAnally's Pubcast, a podcast exploring the fun and fantastical mind of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files series. Hosts Tanzan, Maggie, and me bring you another round of literary analysis on this immense, immersive, and colorful environment inhabited by Harry Dresden, the world's only licensed private investigator and professional wizard. Join an active and engaged community of new and die-hard dedicated fans focused on the fabulous themes, theories, characters, context, lore, and more. This is McAnally's Dresden Files Pubcast by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.
Welcome to the McAnally's Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode 17.9, Innocence and Authority, where we are covering the novel Proven Guilty. My name is Tanzan, and I'm joined by Jess.
200 days.
And our guest, Shayla.
Hello.
My mamushka is going to be away for maybe 1 or 2, maybe even 3 or 4 weeks. She's pretty sick right now, and we plan on taking her out back and shooting her, so.
Oh, perfect.
Chapter 11. Harry investigates the site of the assault at the convention.
This is more Jim Butcher out of touch with the future, I feel. A little bit didn't age well, because this whole, when people say the word convention, they're usually referring to a large gathering of employees. No, the fuck they're not. Not anymore.
No.
Everyone knows convention means fun. There's no such thing. I don't know. I would call a work thing just like seminars.
Yeah, I guess my first convention would have been before this, because I think my first convention was XenaCon, 2005 or 4? 2005 or 2004. Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, my first convention, I was 18 and just about to graduate high school in 2010, and it was Calgary Comic Expo, when it was still just this little tiny room in the BMO Center.
Fan run, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, like, a year later, it exploded, and it was basically if you didn't pre-buy tickets, you weren't getting in. And it was like, holy shit, that is, like, so different. Yeah, a year or two later.
Okay, so it is Thursday, which means the con has basically not really gotten into anything yet, which is surprising that there's even actually events happening, because they started clearly on Wednesday if there was enough to...
Do ours start on Wednesdays?
It really depends. I know, like, the Calgary Comic Expo, it starts up, like, Thursday evening. And they just do an evening thing. It's people that just drop by, like, see what's going on. And then it's, like, full swing by Friday. HorrorCon, it's usually just Saturday, Sunday for many years before this year that just passed. It would kick off on Friday, like they'd have VIP events. So like there was one package you could get where you could go out to Banff for the day with all the celebrity guests. And then there was a VIP party so you could kind of mix and mingle. There was like an official Calgarian inauguration, the white hat ceremony that they would do. Mm-hmm. And then the Saturday, Sunday, it was just straight up the con. And like for Friday and Saturday night too, like other things like the Calgary Underground Film Festival, CUF, would run like movie features. They ran one last night with some of the celebrity guests, and they try to do that fairly often. I've been to one of them, but for the most part, like Thursdays, maybe even Friday nights, it's just kind of like things kicking off.
I was going to say, an early comic expo here at Calgary anyways, we'd bring like, you know, fan artists, so like Weird Al, for example, like artists sort of like in that sort of vein, and they might be performing on a Thursday or Friday or Saturday night because, you know, other artists had already booked our very few stadiums in the city for things like that, but it's not really, like, we've only really used Thursday night in recent years because we've gotten so big, and I wouldn't expect SplatterCon to be of any size to need more than like basically Saturday or Sunday.
I think like the Thursdays for our con, I think that's been going on for almost about 10 years, I want to say by now.
Maybe now, but I still think it's, you know, partially because it's just gotten so big that they need the extra time, whereas a small thing like this, it's shocking me that they started on a Wednesday. Now, at the same time, if it's just a bunch of, you know, young people who have nothing better to do than, you know, do a week of con, as it seems to be Molly and her friends.
Or they're doing setup and they're just playing the movies. That could be explained that way,
Which,
maybe.
Yeah, I get having Pal, you know, be the first victim makes sense because, you know, most of our con is happening in your theater for the first 2 or 3 days.
They could also be using, like, I know in previous cons, too, that Thursday, like, during the day, it's like their setup.
that could also be true if they just use the day to set up. I think renting a hotel for more days than you need it for is expensive.
Oh, absolutely. So they're using it for setup because, like, even HorrorCon for here for Fridays, like Friday night is the setup. It's why they'd also run, like, the VIP parties in previous years. Again, they didn't...
Elsewhere.
No, it was usually held at the hotel that the HorrorCon was at for many years. It was actually in, like, some rec center this year, which wasn't too bad. But yeah, like Friday during the day or Friday night, it's when these markets and vendors are, like, setting up. They're getting the tables ready for the celebrity guests and everything, too.
Okay, so apparently all the staff get a freebie, which is nice and convenient because that means Harry doesn't have to pay to get in. Which, to be fair, he did already pay $2,000 to get.
Yeah.
Oh, we also figure out that Harry's got a little bit of just a PTSD thing going on with some of the vampires because he spots an attendee that has fake fangs and instantly is, like, starting to have this real visceral reaction.
I also want to, like, point out, because I noticed this and it made me laugh so hard, the fact that Harry's, like, trying to, like, differentiate, it's like, okay, is this a costume? Is this, like, someone's everyday attire? Straight up, there has been so many horror cons where I am staring at somebody and it's like, what are you? Like, I don't recognize that movie character. And then it, like, clicks. I'm like, oh, you're just a really hardcore goth. And it's like, oh, you wear those vampire fangs, like, on the daily. Honey, do you need to talk to someone? Like,
that sounds uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Like, I've tried wearing those fake fangs, but
there's some better quality ones out there.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but for every day?
Get the ones. Yeah, you can get the ones that are, like, actually mold to your teeth. Like, the ones that I have mold to your teeth, and they mold so well that I've bitten into apples with them.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Tanzan hardcore goth over here, just finding out. So he does not eviscerate.
And I do need to talk to somebody.
This is your therapy right now. Telling a bunch of strangers on the internet random anecdotes about your life in between Harry Dresdens.
Everybody trauma dumps these days. It's fine. It's fine.
Makes me endearing, right?
So Harry gets to go and write his own name on his own "Hello, my name is" sticker, which is everybody's favorite part of everything. So Harry writes innocent bystander. We'll see by the end of the night, bro.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ironic, no?
You hope. Self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Right? If I write it down, I'd also like to think that Ivy is just sitting at home and she knows. Because Ivy is a character that keeps track of everything that humans have ever written down ever. For all of human history. So I'd really like it if Ivy was just like, it's not necessarily explained that she knows exactly who writes what, but I still would think it'd be funny if she's just like at school or home right now and she goes, no. That seems suspicious. What's Kincaid, can you call Harry, see what the fuck he's up to right now?
So Harry does his usual shtick with making fun of the con, which Molly asks him not to, and explains the effort that Sandra has gone to. She mentions that she knows her from the community service as a volunteer, and that she's actually helped out numerous of the people that are there.
Harry getting cowed by a teenager is pretty funny, honestly, because he is a dick about literally everything. And so usually are teenagers. So I really do like Molly being like, listen up, motherfucker. I care about this place and these people, and you are not going to make fun of it. And Harry being like, have we met?
Well, and it's nice that it also, like, it's a really interesting and great way to, like, establish the characters there where there's a bit of a background without being...
It does give a good
like,
background.
too feeding of information.
Why is everyone else here? And a little bit more of that, that Molly met at one of the group homes and things like that. And damn, girl.
There's a few troubled people here.
Just a few. That seems like the most, I don't know, it's pretty rude, but roll your eyes like, oh yeah, a bunch of kids from a group home wanted to go into a horror con? Okay. Did your therapist tell you guys to do that? All you do is sit at home and watch movies that make you cry, Shay. Now go put on a convention and do something useful with your time now.
They don't make me cry. Come on.
They would make me cry.
I know. Yeah, stop projecting, Jess.
But it still seems a little bit funny where it's just like a bunch of young people were like, I don't know, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off sort of thing. It's like, we got to do something this weekend that's actually exciting. And they're like, let's do HorrorCon. And then everyone dies. So they did a bad job, clearly.
They did a horrible, that is horrible.
Bad organization. You guys should have hired security.
Well, we better take it to, what's her name? Sandra. Damn it, Sandra!
Sandra, you had one
But they had the police there. Which,
oh, right, he
how
was
often
there
are the
before the
police
murder.
there?
Right. I was about to say, I was like, oh yeah, I was like after the
They
murder.
did hire
No, Rawlins was there before there was any murder.
Yeah, he was.
That's probably like a fire code thing or something like that. Oh, you're going to have 100 people in a hotel? Cop.
I'm trying to think of any of the cons that I've been at. Like, I've seen private security, but have I seen cops? But of course, there's moonlighting for cops, too, so I guess.
Fair enough.
Whether he's on official capacity or not.
I was going to say, I've only ever known
But I
private
think he is in
security,
this case.
but
So.
he's definitely a cop right now.
And Harry gets a little bit of annoyed with Molly's response anyways, and then he realizes, he's like, oh shit, I'm coming across like Charity. That's
I'm fighting with a teenager, and I sound like the teenager's mom. I've already lost. So Harry wants to go see the bathroom.
it's really got to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
This was the only one that will do, Rawlins. Only this one. I refuse to accept any other bathroom in this entire hotel. That's going to be a problem.
I guess
Rawlins.
My question is like Rawlins like a recurring character? Is he like...
He has been in
Okay.
previous books.
And is about to become one.
Oh, okay.
This is his biggest introduction to.
I was trying to think of, like, and I didn't take the time to look up which one I remembered him from. Do you?
I don't want to be wrong. This is what my mother's infinite knowledge would be used for. So let's pretend that she's
Where's
here.
our fact checker?
And it is my belief that this is the cop that was in the field museum when Harry wanted to look at the dead bodies. And there was two shitty cops that were talking to each other about how bad they wanted to go on a break. And then there was like a good cop that was like, I know Murphy's dead dad, and Murphy was such a good little girl.
Just the, like, hearing Rawlins, though, and especially, like, Harry being all like, no, only this bathroom will do. And you can, like, just feel him being like, oh, my God, like, I do not have it in me for this shit. Come on, man. I just imagine, like, Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon.
Oh, I kind of like that. I
Yeah.
kind of want to see him like that now.
Yeah, that's how I, like, envision him, and him just, like, sitting there going, oh, my God, I am getting too old for this shit.
Okay, I looked it up. He's been in Deadbeat. Yeah, you're right.
Perfect, he was the one I knew.
Yeah, you are correct.
Oh my God, I'm my mother's daughter.
Oh, secretly, it's actually been Maggie the whole time, but you couldn't tell because of the voice anyway.
Dun, dun, dun.
If we come out of any of the episodes that don't have her without fact-checking, when she comes back, she's going to be like, all right, point one. She's going to, if the Discord doesn't do it first. They're also pretty good about eviscerating our fact-checking. As we know, Rawlins is good at his job. He's been a detective. He's been demoted twice because he's got a problem with authority.
Fair.
Hello, Dresden 2.0. And he doesn't want to let Harry into the bathroom, which is very fair. I feel that that's actually, doing his job.
I feel like knowing that information, it's just like, no, I've already been screwed over twice. I've already been demoted because of my issues with authority. I don't have it in me for more trouble. Like, no, you're not getting in this bathroom.
And see, I see it the exact opposite. And Harry's like, come on, man. What's a third demotion? Let's go. But Harry does his best to convince him. He's like, I promise I won't even walk inside. And all these EMTs and other cops have already been through it. So how much more can I possibly contaminate it to begin with? And I'm just going to give it a quick look-see. And also,
What if I promised a tippy toe?
I think that there's some spooky afoot, which is
A spooky foot?
code word for...
Which is
Shit's
also
about
one
to
of my
go
options.
south.
So I do like that Rawlins has, still open to this. We found out in Deadbeat that Rawlins was a little bit, he's seen some weird shit. That's when Murphy's dad came and saved him. Mm-hmm. So he does almost on the precipice believe, which is good for Harry because it means Harry gets to take a look. But I like that I don't know. Karen's team, we don't actually meet a lot of them outside of Karen. We had her partner and we had, the occasional one or two, and we've had, Rudolph, the fucking loser that he is. But we don't actually know a lot of Karen's guys. But to get this summary, actually I think that comes later, but to get Rawlins as open to it is very nice because it's not this problem that he's been having since Denton and the other FBI guys.
He's already got enough things going against him. It's like, we need to advance this plot. Somehow.
Fair enough. I had another thought of that later because Murphy also said, she's like, consider yourself on the clock, Harry. And I'm like, finally, not a new job. He's just getting paid for what he was already doing.
I gotta say that I do like that Rawlins also has a tongue-in-cheek sort of a name tag where he puts it, I'm an authority figure on there. That's great.
Rawlins is good humor. He's really actually a good pairing for Harry.
Yeah, I was thinking too.
They
work
good team.
well.
Yeah. So before he gets to see the bathroom, he does do some questioning about Nelson. And apparently Rawlins doesn't think that Nelson did it at all, actually. He thinks that the kid was way too clean afterwards. No blood on the knuckles. He wasn't huffing and puffing. It just seemed like no way in hell that he could have been the...
Like, he was definitely shell-shocked by it. And Rawlins could see that, but it's just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna...
Oh, yeah, you're the literally only person in here, so I've got to arrest you for something. But
Yeah.
he expected arresting him and booking him would be enough to make the kid talk, and the kid was like, no, I literally have nothing to say about this. And at that point, it was too late because the kid had a record. So in you go.
Yeah, we gotta find out the repeat offender part, which is,
Not great for your image, Nelson.
And I think that just kind of goes back to like a couple episodes when I like explained like that is a huge trope of wrong place, wrong time. Like somebody who repeat offender, like already kind of got that reputation. It fits the bill. And it's just like, no, it really doesn't matter if whether you did it or not. We need to pin this on somebody, and you're up, kid.
You don't want to be a low-level thug when the supernatural start hashing it out, because...
Yeah. Like, if 80s slashers have taught me anything other than, don't go off having some premarital sex here.
Don't get naked.
Don't go swimming. Don't turn on the fucking lights, for
Little
the love
known
of God.
fact that actually Christian organizations are the ones behind every horror film, just to trick their teenagers into not acting out, or they will get eaten by...
What was that one that was about, like, getting high that was also, like, propaganda?
Reefer Madness?
Yes, Reefer Madness.
Okay.
Just like Reefer Madness.
I don't know, my mind went, like, to horror, and it's like, okay, pot and horror movies, that's probably, like, really cheesy and silly.
The only horror movies I watch are, like, the $10 bundles from Walmart that are, like, 30 college-made movies on one DVD.
I don't know, you gotta be careful with some of those, because I watched one, like, a couple months ago with a friend of mine, and we're, like, sitting there watching it, and at some parts it's like, are we watching a snuff film? I think we're watching a snuff film.
They're mostly pornos where people get murdered, because they're all college final projects.
Honey, that's a snuff film.
What was the one that there was, like, cannibal Holocaust that people thought was actually a snuff?
Okay, I will go into this one. So, Cannibal Holocaust, just for people who don't know, was the first
Literally everyone.
It was the first found footage horror to be made. It came out in 1980. I can't remember the director's name. Some Italian guy. The Italians are, like, really fucked up with horror, though. So, like, that should have been our first, like, red flag. So he had all of the actors basically sign waivers being like, I'm not going to go in the public eye. I'm not going to go and, like, make an ass of myself. Like, he wanted to make it believable. Well, it worked a little too well because he got hauled into court and, like, a bunch of murder charges, animal abuse, all of that. And, like, these actors actually had to come out of hiding to be like, no, like, we're alive. This is not real.
Yeah.
He did still get charged because there is, like, animal killing in the movie that was actually real that they did on camera. And I don't know, I've seen the movie a couple times. I own it. And, like, knowing that that part is real, I get so queasy and I have to turn around because it's just like, oh God, they're actually killing that turtle right now.
Ruggero Deodato.
Okay, yeah. I don't know why. I don't know. The only Italian director I can ever remember is Argento because he made a name for himself. Where Regato, I don't think he really did much after that. I think he
It's like, oh, fuck that. No.
No, I'm not doing this again. But yeah, there was like this whole controversy. But because it is like pretty gruesome and out there, it's banned in so many countries to this day still.
I just haven't watched it yet, but I knew the stories of it.
Yeah, I own it, and I think it's like some bootleg from like Korea or something like that. So it like totally has the Korean subtitles and like the nudity. Like you'll find some versions where like you see like all nudity. The one I have, it's actually blurred out completely.
But it makes it better.
It's only the female nudity that's blurred out too. Like anything like you can see a penis, but a whole pair of breasts. That is too far. No nipples.
No nipples. Harry would be
Not Harry's movie.
Yeah, that was fun.
So Rawlins is convinced nobody else went into that bathroom. The only person that possibly could have come in or out was himself and Nelson and Pell.
Yeah.
So kid gets arrested and booked, and that's all Rawlins knows. But he does think it's still weird. So he's on stakeout for this bathroom for the foreseeable future. Pretty please, can I look inside, Rawlins? Pretty please. And luckily, he does manage to convince Rawlins to do a little looky-loo. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, outside of a crime scene, he does not see anything supernatural, so he makes the devastating choice to use that little whoopsie third eye.
Was it enough of an explanation in the book?
No, it definitely is. And just like
for the site.
My own studies of the occult and, other witchy stuff that I got into. Yeah, the third eye, it definitely made a lot of sense. Like, I understand the chakra, how you can open it and see things that your regular eyes don't see. I like to, personally, whenever I think of it, I think of Lord of the Rings and what do your elf eyes see? That's instantly what I
That's awesome. I like that.
Thank you.
So some of the things is like whatever he sees will stay with him for life in vivid detail. He will never forget it.
Yeah.
Hence the yuck of and the risk of doing this.
But sometimes when he looks, he just gets this sort of impression or something like that. This seems to be almost a full flashback. Like, and I get intuition can play a lot of it, experience can play a lot of it, but what he describes here seems to be like some serious hardcore, I know exactly what happened now, exactly how the first hit happened and where the body fell and exactly how it all took place. And I know when Nelson came out of the shadow or out of the bathroom and I see a shadow in the corner and like, I don't know, just like this time seemed to be like so explicit for him.
They all seem a little bit kind of different too sometimes. The wizard side is really varied.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking back because I was wondering at first when we were getting into all of this supernatural stuff, and this is a little bit spoilers for ahead here, but we see that there are track marks on both Nelson and Rosie, and I went back because I couldn't remember how the third eye was being administered, and Shay, the third eye was a drug from book 1. But that was just a potion. People are just drinking that. So
Yeah.
in no way is that connected now.
It sort of invoked the
But it invoked this
wizard
sort of
sight.
third eye for a temporary amount of time. And I'm just wondering because, like, in that novel, when he uses his third eye on Victor Sell's house, you kind of get this impression of, like, a screaming ghost, sort of, where, like, lining the property everywhere you went. And it was supposed to be this sort of, I don't know, representation of that soul trauma that was happening on the property, not necessarily indicative of, like, actual murders and deaths on the property, but all these orgies for this sort of power spell collection thing that he was doing was leaving this psychic stain. Versus now, where he can just fully see, like, the exact... Okay, monster came over here, grabbed this, threw that, ripped up this, and I see a shadow in the corner there as well, indicative of something we will not learn for many more chapters. But it's just strange to me that it's like, well, like you said, the interpretation varies constantly, but...
And maybe Harry in the first book was feeling like he was being a little bit more artistic in his writings.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, too. Is it like...
I just saw shit that looked awful.
Well, yeah, is it just, I don't know, Harry's a little bit more tired at this point? Or, I don't know, he wasn't as powered up in the first book? Like, how does the third eye affect each person? Is it based on your psyche of the day, or is it based on the trauma of the moment, or is it based on the magical hoojiki in the air? Or does this hotel fall right on a landline? Landline? Ley line? I don't know. It's just... It is interesting to me that every single time he opens it up, the interpretation seems to be some different Rorschach test. Some a little bit easier to guess at than others.
I kind of like that it's a bit varied, though, because like that gives you a bit of a freedom. And I mean, it is a sort of a supernatural talent. So, I mean, it really could be different each time.
Well, and my other question then, too, is like he goes on to say, it sticks with everyone no matter what. And I'm like, does it, though, or is it just a you problem? Maybe other wizards aren't as connected to it as you are. Maybe they just get over it. Because it's so different for Harry each time, it might be so different for them.
Work. He's writing with a pen. Everyone else has got pencils.
Well, you know, Matt in our Discord, he's running a Harry Potter... Oh, my God. He's running a Harry Dresden Fate system game right now, and one of the other players opens his eye for literally everything, and everyone's like, you're going to kill yourself doing that. And he's like, it's fine. What can I see right now? And I'm gonna, Matt, this is your message right now. We should just start being like totally fine. Who cares?
Why do you have a nosebleed?
It should just be fine.
Oh man, that blood's coming out of your ears now.
Maybe for the character's name is Mal.
Blood?
Maybe he just handles it better than Nick did, okay? So Harry does his fainting girl act. When Harry's coming out of that, though, he starts to feel some energies gathering. Some scary, spooky brouhaha.
It's not just that his spider sense is tingling. Mm-hmm. Oh, shit. Mm-hmm. And inquires if are there more cops on site?
And for Rawlins to answer that with just me, that seems ridiculous. Like, they already had one cop on staff just because the horror convention was happening. And then a murder happens, and they're like, yeah, that guy's he's got it handled. This'll be fine.
I thought the guy wasn't dead yet. I thought he was just, like,
sorry. Okay, you're right. He's not murdered yet.
Yeah, he was still assaulted in the bed. Well,
Wait, he dies? I guess I'll find that out.
No, I actually don't think he does, but...
It's definitely... Well, I guess I could kind of see it. It's just like, one person got assaulted. We picked up, like, this repeat offender. It's obvious he did it. Oh, no, there's not a lot of evidence. No, we're just going to say he did it. And it's like, no, it was a one-off. So, of course, there's not going to be more cops there. Because, like, that's like with anything. One thing happens. And it's like, no, we're good. We're just going to keep the one cop.
That's why it seems crazy to me, Sometimes I have to call the cops a lot for my job, and sometimes I call and I get one cop because they're so busy, and other times I call for, like, the exact same incident, but they're not as busy, and I get 4 fucking cop cars. Like, I understand they might not have 1 million staff to spare, but I still feel like hey, maybe this convention is going to have more people quick to panic because of this weird occurrence that happened. Maybe we put one guy to do his job as a convention security and another guy to watch the bathroom so no one goes and tampers with this crime scene.
It's Chicago. They got better things to do.
And then the screaming started.
Right. Just in time for all the lights to go out. Boom.
I appreciated that so much because you see it every time, like when shit's gonna go sideways, especially for like supernatural, paranormal movies. Just lights always gotta go out.
Well, even if there's nothing scary going on, if you're in a convention center and all of the lights go out, that would be enough to like scare the shit out of me. You're like, oh fuck.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially
and not everyone's gonna have a cell phone that has a light on it too. So
well, yeah, this
definitely
is
not right now.
No, it's 2005.
Yeah.
Even if you have a cell phone, they don't produce light at this point.
Not enough.
Well, they don't know that yet. That's next chapter.
But even that like backlit LED thing on a phone screen doesn't like exist anymore. Like old technology used to be like dull gray.
Yeah.
Right. Don't need those pixels there, I guess.
Yeah.
Use your 1-inch screen, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's a flip phone
Figure it
anyway.
out.
It's too dark. You can't find your phone in your backpack anyway.
Yep.
Thank you to our Patreon subscribers for your generous support. It's people like you who help us to do what we do. If you're not yet a Patreon subscriber, sign up today and get a fuck ton of bonus content, kick-ass merch, behind-the-scenes outtakes, and more. Sign up today at www.patreon.com/freeflowrambling.
Chapter 12. Harry and Rawlins go to the source of the dark magic and find a slasher movie villain come to life and attacking people. Rawlins tries to get his flashlight out, but it's nearly ineffective against the supernatural dark. So Harry uses his silver pentacle, which at least gives them 15 feet of visibility. And he adds a little bit of his orange glow from his staff.
I almost felt like Harry was kind of annoyed that he had to use his magic. Or even just annoyed with Rawlins, like, hang on.
I don't know.
That was kind of the vibe I got.
Harry likes to, break out his mother's pentacle at any chance he gets, I think.
So it's more of a flex than...
Here, let me try.
I think I have something, I don't know. It just felt like annoyed. Then again, when I was, rereading the chapter to do my notes, I was, half asleep doing it, so...
No, he uses the pentacle for light often.
She's been dead since the day I was born. Let me have this.
It's not wrong.
Fair enough. Damn it, Harry.
Please. What is that? Oh, fuck, I'm going to say it wrong and everyone's going to kill me, but 64 burgers, 32 milkshakes, 85 nuggets. Blah, blah. You guys know that one?
No.
In the drive-thru. It's from the show with the comedian and the guy. Everyone listening knows what I'm talking about, okay? Point is that everyone, not you two, but everyone listening to me right now, okay? When he's like, stop, no, I'm doing a thing, that's Harry taking out his pentacle. Not your flashlight, stop, I'm doing a thing. I'll show you guys a clip when we're done this, okay? It's super relatable, and everyone's gonna understand what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, I think I'd like to be in the loop on that one.
Well, I kind of have visions with this, how the scope of vision is really limited, and then the light sort of gets snuffed out, and it's this really limited scope. Is they have those, and I know you'll know what I'm talking about here. Is the horror movies where it's
found footage almost.
Yeah, found footage.
That is exactly
where they turn on their night vision, and you can only see these sort of washed out bodies.
Yeah, or even if they're using the camera light, it only gives you so much. And I'm really hit and miss with found footage as it is. The whole shaky camera thing, it's okay, whatever. I don't get that motion sick. I don't understand why so many people puked during the Blair Witch Project and Cloverfield. Blair Witch sucks, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there. People come at me for it. I don't
Not
care.
disagreeing with you.
No, thank you.
I saw it in theaters. I was like, what the fuck? Ugh.
But at the same time, with those camera tricks, it can work really well to kind of build this suspense. It's probably why, and I get some grief for this, I really like the Paranormal Activity movies. I like Grave Encounters, where you it's people going in, kind of recording, but the camera's still for a lot of it. And, you see, an open room, and I think it's the third or fourth movie it's the fourth one where like she falls asleep with like her Skype call on, and you can just kind of like, you're looking throughout that whole camera, and it's like, oh my God, like what am I looking for? Where is it going to come from? Where's it going to go? And it's the same with
more suspense that way.
It's the same with the first one where they're recording themselves sleeping and the doors open. You're like watching. And, like, it starts out, it's like a door just slowly shuts one day, or, like, the door slams shut, or you hear footsteps. Like, you're constantly looking, like, all through the screen trying to find it. But then again, you've got things like the Blair Witch Project where you're running through the woods and everything, but you only see so much, and it can work, but that just doesn't work well.
See, I sometimes like the documentary vibe, the fake documentary vibe, mockumentary sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it can work. For, depending on the story, it's a good, use of it. But I cannot stand found footage. I hate it. The shaky camera, the running, the bad angles. Fucking can't stand it. Like, I remember the first time watching it in, like, Journey to the Center of the Earth. It was, like, Josh Hutcherson and whoever the fuck. I fucking hated that movie because I, like, could not watch it. I was, like, literally sick watching it. And I was in the theaters watching it. And I was like, this movie fucking sucks. I don't give a fuck about the plot. I want out of this room so bad. And I try to avoid basically every found footage movie ever since because I cannot stand it. But that being said, sorry, epileptics, but when the lights are like going up and off and off and off and off and on, and like the character monsters, whatever, are like jumping every like frame, I think that's like cool and scary as hell. So that's okay.
Again,
but,
like for some it works. For some, like, it just doesn't. Like, found footage, I always found it so, like, 50-50. Either it's fucking amazing or it just sucks.
Yeah. I'm okay with found footage as long as it's not making me motion sick, and some of them really do. Yeah. That's why I'm better with found footage on a smaller screen, then it's fine.
But, like, I think really the only found footage movie... Oh, wait, no, I don't think... No, Chernobyl Diaries. I think that's, like, the only found footage movie I ever watched in theaters. And I really enjoyed it. But
this is totally how I see this whole scene playing out.
Like that's just that shitty,
you can't see it, things
like
camcorder,
and it's like you only have like a small range. Like I definitely see we got way off kilter.
Well, no, but that's what makes this so cool is because for these first few moments of confusion, people do keep popping up, but it's not monsters, it's random patrons, and it's just Harry and Rawlins being like, follow the light, follow the exit, follow this wall, go, go, go. And I can imagine sitting in that theater right now and like you're waiting for something to jump out of you, and it just keeps being fake vampire girl, random teenager, like random man. It's like, the scary thing is still not here, but you're so tensed and waiting for it. And
the jump scare doesn't have to be a monster.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, for this first 30 seconds of this scene, that's exactly what it's like for these two men. And
I also appreciate like that kind of like cheap jump scare. Like I don't do good with them. I don't watch a lot of paranormal movies as it is. I just get scared so easily and I jump so badly. But something like that, like I would love to see in a movie. Like you're walking through and it's like just random cosplayer, like person with like a gash on their forehead, like freaking out, like just seeing the terror on the people's faces. And again, if it's done right, it's good.
Well, we've said this before that like the Dresden books really lend themselves to a very cinematography sort of descriptions.
Oh yeah, and we're actually coming up on a part where it's like I definitely saw it and I fangirled.
So there's this one sad moment here where Rawlins is like, is this fire? Is this smoke? And Harry's like, no. I know what burning buildings are like. Oh my God, precious little darling.
Yeah. There's also
I took it more from the humor aspect that he's always like lighting shit in fire.
Oh no, I took it from 2 books ago when he was in Malvera's Red Cross basement or whatever.
The building was on fire and it wasn't my fault.
There's that moment too.
Sometimes when Harry talks, I see him as like that kind of patron in the corner of the bar. Like you can only really see his face as he's like smoking a cigarette, like the burning ash. I've seen some.
That's how he wants you to see him.
Yeah. But it's not like in a cool, mysterious way. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, see, I see it as like the two main characters are trying to have a conversation and he keeps interjecting. They're like, we get it, old man, shut the fuck up.
Like that one person where it's like has a story for everything and it's just like, oh my God, I get it. You've seen some stuff. Like,
Harry's totally
get out of here and go to therapy, please.
How old would you guess that Harry is if you don't know?
Right now in this novel,
well, just like from basis on what I do know, like I'm assuming like he's a few hundred years old at this point.
And in wizard age, translated to like human age?
Okay, like in human age, I would easily see him like mid-30s to mid-40s, like kind of in that age range. Not like...
He does read that, yeah.
He does read that way. Like, you've definitely been around long enough to see some shit. But in wizard years, I think, like, I even saw it, but I cannot remember. So I'm just going to say, fuck it, a few hundred years old at least.
No, he is not older than he actually is yet. Like, they do have longer
Okay, maybe
lives,
that's why I'm just, like,
but he's not there yet.
confused.
Harry is just 30 on Always, just 30 years old in this book.
Okay.
Yeah. But he wants people to think he's a few hundred years old with wisdom.
Yeah, he likes to put on the old crotchety wizard shtick.
Okay, but really, he's just a young kid. That's kind
He's literally just 30 years old.
Okay, fair enough.
And then the first novel, he's like 23.
Okay.
And still doing the shtick.
Still doing the shtick. He's all about the shticks, our Harry.
That's why we love him. But then he pulls out, comic book references.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. He's 25 in the first novel. He's 23 in Restoration of Faith, which is his first sighting. I'm sorry, people. Don't yell at me, okay? I'm fucking trying here.
Fact check. So while Rawlins is helping another person get to the door via a wall, the temperature suddenly drops really quickly, and it's cold enough to see his breath.
The temperature drop, it gives me, like, a bit of that Harry Potter vibe with, like, the Dementors. Like, I know it's not overly horror-related, but, like, I think it was 14, and honestly, the Dementors scared the shit out of me when I read the books, and then, like, even as a teenager seeing the movies, it's like, oh my god, these things are fucking freaky, but I want more, because I've been a horror junkie a long time. But just, like, that overall temperature drop, like, somebody's always complaining when spooky shit's happening, there's, like, always the temperature drop. The Conjuring being notable, like, when they're explaining to Ed and Lorraine Warren, like, oh, it gets, like, super cold. I'm always freezing. Like, someone's always complaining about how cold it is.
Yeah. The Ghostbusters even make reference to his.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the Ghostbusters is, like, even more notable. Like, just anything with ghosts, or even back to found footage movies when people are investigating the paranormal, like, you see the temperature drop. Grave Encounters was really great for that. Oh, I gotta watch those movies soon. They are good found footage. Grave Encounters 1 and 2. Oh my god, like, it's the whole, like, haunted asylum thing. And, like, those movies still get me every time, but for paranormal
sounds like
movies,
when American Horror didn't suck.
Yeah. Oh, The Exorcist. Like, the first one, like, complaining that Reagan's room, I cannot remember Ellen Burstyn's character for the life of me. Mrs. McNeil, we'll just call her that. But she's complaining that Reagan's room is freezing. And even when they go in to do, like, the exorcism, the priest, like, you can see their breath. It's fucking cold in there. So just having that, and like, it's something, like, supernatural and it's, like, crazy and fucked up. Like, I'm a sucker for, like, the tropes that have been done over and over again, and I really appreciated that. And it's like, I was kind of waiting for somebody to complain about the cold, but there was no complaints.
Well, more than just the cold, the air around them seems to become, like, almost oppressive and trying to keep Harry back from plunging further into the darkness.
Yeah, this pressure.
That gives me more, like, supernatural vibes. Like,
well, I have something to tell you about these novels.
I'm at the show, Jessica.
Oh, I see.
Well, and we've had in previous books, like, the drop in temperature, I think, before with Agatha Hagglethorne, but never really this ominous pressure and...
Well, yeah, this is the first time we've had, this, like,
which is nice.
resistance.
It's got a difference. Like, it's still building on the world.
Yeah, gross. I just think of this, like, I don't know, vicious looking.
I don't know. I'm sitting there because I don't do well with cold at all. I don't do well with heat. I'm very sensitive to those things. If I was, like, stuck in that movie theater trying to get out and I noticed the temperature drop, I would, like, not care about, like, some psycho trying to murder me at that point. It's just like, it is way too fucking cold. I need to get out of here and find warmth.
I think I'm always really quick to, like, fetal position, If something like that happened, I'd be like, hey, play dead immediately.
See, and I've seen enough movies where it's just like, oh, no, I'm going to find a door. I don't care if I have to kick a child. I'm getting out.
Okay, sorry, children at the theater.
I don't think there's going to be any kids for a horror movie, but this is 2005 when people still, like, kind of protected their kids from this stuff.
And left their kids at home, and they weren't, arrested for it.
Yeah, now I go to HorrorCon and I see, like, toddlers and stuff on, like, leashes.
I grew up in the 80s. They didn't give a shit.
That's what I'm talking about, though. I'm like, we're still in a time with these novels where you could leave your kids at home for a time.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I do like that when Harry's having trouble and he's pushing against this dark magic and he sort of explains explains to Rawlins, and Rawlins is just like, there's no such thing as magic, but do you want me to push you?
Oh, there is always someone in these movies. Like, shit is hitting the fan. Like, things are levitating. Things are being thrown across the room. There is obvious supernatural presence. There is always and it's always a man. It is always an older man going, this isn't magic. There is a logical reason for all of it. It's the same with, like, every dad that moves their family into a haunted fucking house. Like, oh, you're cold? No, you cannot touch the thermostat. Put on a sweater. What do you mean? No, that window doesn't slam open and closed on its own. It just needs a little WD-40. It's not that bad. Like, it's not that serious. There is always that.
The difference is that Rawlins is saying it more to convince himself.
Exactly.
And he's really like, he's got Harry's back completely. He's
he
willing
does.
to just, even if he does have that doubt, which I think you're right, he thinks he's trying to convince himself. He's still like right there with him. He's going to the source. He's pushing, he's willing to help push him to get to where they need to go.
Is a great character. And yeah, we did get a little introduction to him in Deadbeat, but like this novel really cements him immediately as like, this guy fucking rocks.
Oh, yeah. Like, throughout the book, like, Rawlins, easily a favorite character. I love him so much. But again, like, this whole thing, it's like, no, it's not. He may be trying to convince himself, but at the same time, it's like, no, like, this kind of thing happens, like, every Thursday in Chicago. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, it almost reminds me of, like, Butter's introductions, you know? Butters got thrown headfirst into the supernatural and was like, okay, so this is not human. Let's figure this out. And he got penalized for it. But then he came out of it a much stronger and more knowledgeable man and was like, okay, Harry, okay, Murphy, what the fuck do you guys need? Let's jump into this. And I like that we get to see a little bit more of Rawlins, too, being like, I've had some stuff, I've been demoted, but listen, when the going gets tough, I'm willing to, you know, step up and be your equal, Harry, and I do like that a lot. He's fantastic.
Just might not tell the truth later. It's fine. It's fine. So Harry's finally able to recognize that the
Cops are allowed to lie, okay?
Oh, God.
For the greater good, obviously.
Refraining. I was refraining. I was. So Harry's finally able to recognize that the origin is in the first conference room, and that's what was set up for movies. Rush to the room, and to find one of the doors is already wrenched off of its hinges. And inside there is feral screaming and thick darkness going on. Like the description of this that sets the scene, I just love it so much. The projector is still on, and it's like frantically like racing through this movie, and then the soundtrack is howling. There's injured people by the entrance, horrified people against the wall.
There's dead people.
Yes, and then there's a pile of dead people in the middle.
I see, and
a lurking figure.
I've been calling this the movie room massacre, and as we talked about, like, he's very theatrical with how he describes things. Being, like, an absolute gore fiend that I am, and, like, just having that visual of, like, a pile of dead bodies, there's gore everywhere, there's, like, people with badly broken bones that it's protruding through the skin. I live for those in movies, and being able to envision it, it's like, okay, Jim Butcher, you did this right. You did this so much justice.
If anyone's still wondering why I asked Shay to come and be on this novel.
I knew after you left, I was like, aha, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't know, was it the tattoos, the horror shirt?
I'm always making horror movie references and explaining it to these two, and they're always like, I don't watch horror movies. Like,
I've seen The Ring, okay? If The Ring comes up, tell me.
You've seen The Ring. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. So if anything like that comes up, I'm there.
Ringu. Yes. No, I didn't find any Ring references in this. Sorry.
No.
All right. Then I don't know anything.
I haven't yet, at least. I don't think they will be, though. I think
I don't think there is. I didn't recognize any.
Wrong genre, really, still. It's still horror, but it's not quite the same.
But wouldn't that be so funny if Harry got a phone call and it was like, 7 days? How did you get this number? I don't even have a phone.
Mavra, is that you?
7 days to what?
Oh, no. Please don't. I normally only get 3 days to live.
That's so much time.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
7 days. Wow.
If this was like more like, well, we have caller ID and everything, but like if this was more modern, just sends like a cash transfer, make it 3.
That's what I'm saying, though. If Harry found out he had 7 days to complete a case, he'd be like, oh, no, what will I do? Go to bed?
Well, I'm just going to take a nap now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm going to take a nap, go walk mouse. Okay, cool.
Call me back in 5 days.
And then we'll talk.
Yeah.
2 more days. Oh, got it. By the way.
Exactly.
So in the middle of this room, Harry sees this giant figure. He was nearly 7 feet tall and so thick with slabs of muscle that he almost seemed deformed. Not pretty bodybuilder muscle either, but the thick, dull slabs that come from endless physical labor. He wore overalls, a blue shirt, and a hockey mask, and there was a long, curved sickle in his right hand. As I watched, he took a pair of long steps forward, seizing the whimpering girl by her hair, and jerked her body in a backward bow. He raised the sickle in his right hand.
Jason.
Yeah.
And
Jason Voorhees.
The thing is, it's not just Jason. So the Maniac, I had like 2 inspirations for it. So obviously Jason is the first one that you go with.
It's the sickle that I was like, okay, what's that?
Okay, so I could see like he's trying not to completely plagiarize. Like, yes, Jason has a machete, his bare hands, like throughout the Friday the 13th. Except the first one, obviously, because it was Jason's mom. But it's whatever Jason can get his hands on. Like Leatherface, yeah, he has the trope where it's the chainsaw, because it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Freddy Krueger has, like, his claws and, like, using dreams against him. But, like, for Jason and Michael, like, yes, they have, like, their signature weapons, but in the same regard, they also don't give a fuck and will just use what they can get their hands on. So I can see that, but I would also like to acknowledge, like, one other maniac I kind of saw with this, too, and that would be the Phantom Killer. So that comes from a movie, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I know this came out in 2005, I think you said, the book, something like that.
Oh, this novel, sorry.
The novel, yeah.
2006.
2006. And at the time, there was only like one version from 1976. It was later remade in 2014. And it was inspired by true events of the Texarkana Moonlight Murders. And the killer uses mainly guns and a modified trombone in one of the scenes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I can't remember the scene as in my life. It's been years since I've watched either version. I own both of them. But just like the big hulking guy, like the mask and everything, that's kind of what I saw as well. But also like I can't remember what the movie in this novel is called, and that'll be like kind of what solidified that Phantom Killer. But yes, you see Jason.
Right.
And that's what I appreciate. It's like, okay, cool. Like we've got a Jason Voorhees. Like that is such a common one.
And I was trying to figure out for the sickle for myself, because I was like, that reminds me of something, but I couldn't. I think it was reminding me of something I've read in a book, because I couldn't find the closest that I could find that uses a sickle is Eaten Alive from 1979, but
Yeah, and again, like, you're gonna see that, but that could have also just easily been Jim Butcher going, okay, I don't want to,
need a different weapon. Yeah.
I just need a different weapon so I don't get, like, sued by, like, well, 2 different movie companies, because, like, one owns the rights to Friday the 13th, and then you've got the last 2 movies where it's Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X. That's because, like, the studio that took them, it was, I want to say New Line, I'm probably wrong, but they were trying to do Freddy versus Jason. And the thing was, is they couldn't get the title rights for Friday the 13th because they wouldn't give that up. And because those 2 movies were done by New Line, they just used Jason. It's still within the Friday the 13th realm, but they cannot legally use the title.
Right.
It's why
Lots
when
of
Freddy
copyright
versus
stuff,
Jason came out, it was Freddy versus Jason, not like something with Friday the 13th.
And really, it's still just a fine title anyway.
It's a beautiful, it worked out great. And honestly, Jason Goes to Hell, which is utter hot garbage. I've only seen it once. I like try not to acknowledge that. I'm going to have to watch it soon because my oldest is getting into Friday the 13th. I've already showed him the first. He's like, now we have to watch all of them. And I'm like, okay, but you do know after that we're going to have to watch Nightmare on Elm Street because you can't watch Freddy vs. Jason without that. So I guess that's, spoiler alert, a new series I'm going to be doing for my reviews.
Suburban slasher.
Suburban slasher, thank you. That's why it was The Town That Dreaded Sundown, because it's more suburban Texarkana that this killer's going through and killing people. That's where I kind of pulled that from.
Okay. Yes. So, and this one is called The Reaper.
That's a pretty badass name.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. That's why, again, I think the sickle, like, if he's called The Reaper, the sickle just goes with it. It's just somewhat an original character.
Yeah. It's just enough pulled from other things, but he still get to be, licensed for himself. That quote that you just read, though, remember it, please, for the next chapter. So Rawlins tries to shoot the Reaper.
Oh, yeah, he wastes no time.
Everybody has to try to shoot it.
He's like, fuck this, bam, bam, bam.
I have a gun, I'ma shoot.
Pretty much, and it's the same. Like, you see it in Halloween, you see it in Friday the 13th. You don't see it much in Nightmare on Elm Street because, well, dude's in your dreams. And even when they pull Freddy out of the dreams, no one tries to shoot Freddy. I don't recall it, at least. But yeah, Leatherface, they shoot at him. Chucky, they shoot at him. Some idiot with a gun is always trying to shoot, and it's every single fucking movie. It doesn't work.
Well, and I applaud that Rawlins just does it right away without even being like, fuck this.
That's definitely, it's got to be
You
the
see
cop
that
in
many
him.
bodies on the ground, though.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Got all the
that's
information I need.
definitely the cop in him, like, nope, I am not going to try and de-escalate. Fuck that, you're getting shot.
But then it's quite shortly followed up by Harry using his big giant fire spell, which, like, knocks this thing straight through the scrim.
It knocks
Okay,
him
bye.
straight. Yeah,
That's all, folks.
done.
And Harry ends up being quite winded from it and kind of vaguely sees somebody fleeing from the room, and then everything pops back to normal.
Well,
As
this is
it
like, why
does.
is he so exhausted right now? He did spend a lot of time preparing for his ritual, but he didn't really do much casting yet today, and yet that seemed to like fully take him out.
I mean, is it the quantity of like the fire that he sent that?
Potentially, but I
Things
feel like
away.
we've seen him pushed like to
From-
the fucking breach many books now, and this
My
is like
ideal thing, though, is like it's Thursday and the book. Hasn't he pretty much been going hard since like Wednesday night?
Well, maybe because he's still concussed and.
Yeah, he's still concussed. Like,
as a regular human, he would be exhausted. But as far as magical expenditures, he really hasn't used much yet.
Well, and he was having trouble with this fire for a while too after.
Yeah, but he's over that now. He
He's
turned on his candles without thinking about it, so he's fine now.
No more trauma, it's fine.
It's fine.
I've healed. I'm a wizard.
Yeah, you're good. Lash is blocking it out for you. You're fine.
I mean, you do have a point, though. He does seem.
I don't know. Like again, I get it.
Winded
Like,
from it,
okay,
yeah.
sure, you're awake for as long as you have been. Going. And I get why it's fair. You want to say you're tired. Okay, fine. But at the same time, I'm like, we see you book after book after book. Be like, I'm gonna perform 45 spells after 3 days of no sleep, and then I'll get tired. And you're right. The concussion could speed that up. But
yeah, that's what my idea is like, motherfuckers concussed. Like, wizard or not, that's gonna like really take a toll on you.
Brain injury. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a minor concussion, and that still like took a lot out of me too.
I mean, fortunately, it's not too long. It's just enough to like let whoever was responsible run away. Plot device.
oh no, darn.
Rawlins does he investigates for the maniac, lands and finds nothing but a dent in the wall and some mysterious slime.
Poltergeist. That just instantly what my mind went to is Poltergeist when I heard about the slime, or Ghostbusters even.
There has been established already in the books that there's the Never, which
Yes.
things from the Never can't maintain a form, and when they sort of go away from this realm, they turn into ectoplasm.
That's kind of cool, actually. Yeah.
So at that point, Rawlins and Harry just basically go on first aid duty and crowd control as best they can while they wait for more help to arrive, which neither of them called for, but presumably one of the screaming patrons got it together.
Well, yeah, like you would assume if people are like fleeing and there's like freaking out about like people getting like murdered and viciously maimed, like someone's gonna call someone.
That's the problem in a crisis, though. Don't assume someone else is going to do it.
Yeah, very true.
Well, and one of the other people that does get called is Harry asks Roland to call in Murphy, even though Rollins is hesitant to do so because he's got some inside intel going, oh, this is not...
That's a little bit weird to me.
But I
He's
will.
like, my captain's the one who decides. And I'm like, okay, but you don't have to say who called her. Like, she could have heard something over the radio, or Harry just himself was requesting his friend Murphy. Like, Rawlins doesn't have to, like, take the fall for involving another department. Like,
And I guess that kind of plays on the fact that he's gone through like 2 demotions by not really playing by the rules. Like, you can definitely see the hesitance to actually like break away from the book.
Well, and I also kind of see it as like, this is where kind of a little bit of a temperature gauge to where Murphy is standing in her own department as well. Like,
I don't know if you
want to
know
call her.
this,
Do we have to call her?
but she's kind of a social pariah. We're not supposed to involve her unless we have to.
Meanwhile, Harry's sitting there going, you kind of fucking have to.
Let's do it, man.
Well, exactly, and this is him again. Like, Murphy and her boys could actually do something about this. So let's go. Tip, tap, tap.
Let's go. Chop, chop.
This concludes our episode 17.9, Innocence and Authority. Thank you for listening. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and McAnally.ca. There we have links to other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and please consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the magic alive and see more content. We are Free Flow Rambling. Roger by it at your own risk.